Hey, hey, hey! I've got Sesame Street today. There's a theme song. I don't exactly like. I remember the lyrics. I don't know. Do you remember the lyrics? Let's talk about Lego. I've been trying to figure out the sound setup. It hasn't been going well. It's probably still feeling crackly, like I stepped straight out of the 1930s from my time machine. I'm just gonna roll with this. This is how it is today. So it probably actually fits though, because like Sesame Street, it's 50 years old. Like not young. It is, I believe, the third longest running scripted TV show. I've got some Sesame Street facts next to me. Basically, Sesame Street is still on air to this day. It first aired on November 10th, 1969, and while there are a few longer-running ones than it, the only one that is still going is Days of Our Lives, which is currently 55 years on TV screens. Anyway, let's talk a little bit more about what I wanted to do with the set, though, because I started a little bit of a setup, but you may notice that these two base plates side by side here is not exactly what's reflected on the box art. Now, the box art, look, you may remember the original ideas submission, and it is gorgeous, like just absolutely gorgeous, right? And why can't I? What's with this setup today? Yeah, so absolutely gorgeous, and this simplifies it in a lot of ways, which I guess is necessary because at some point you've got to make choices about hitting a certain price point, getting it to market, and I'm going to be straight up honest here. I'm here because it's got the minifigures in it. This is the only way you're going to get these minifigures. If you want the Sesame Street minifigures, this is it. Which is a bit of a pity because there are certain minifigures we are missing here. For instance, where is the Count, my absolute all-time favourite of all possible Sesame Street characters? He is just gorgeous, right? There's no denying. I'm just going to fix up a few things because I can't see my comments. If you're saying something in the comments right now, I can't tell. So I'm just kind of clicking on things, trying to figure that out. Yeah, here I am. See, this is just me clicking on things. I don't know. There's probably something I can drag or pull. Like, usually it's there. It's on the other side, but it's not there today. Hmm. Anyway, let's get with the building, eh? Yeah. I'll just occasionally have to click around and look at stuff and, I don't know, figure stuff out. I don't know. It's a better go. I'm figuring this out as I go along. It's probably obvious. Okay. So here we go. Yes, I have opened the bag because there are, like I said, there are a few things I want to change along the way. The Sesame Street set has been fluid throughout the years. There have been little changes made to the set itself, but most of it stays consistent. We have the, I'm not even quite sure what to call it, but the apartment building here, I guess, where Bert and Ernie live and others live. That has Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch next to it. Then you've got that little open square, and then you've got Hooper's store and the other stores alongside it. These days I think it's a bicycle store right next to it, but it has changed over the years. So playing a little with that idea of fluidity, I think I want to go close to what we currently have on set, which is that big open square there, the apartment block here, and it'll give a little bit more weight and volume and size to the area that we would have for Big Bird's area, where Snuffleupagus from time to time comes to visit. Anyway, bag one, opening bag one here, and already I've got one of my all-time favourite, like yours too, right? I'm just going to assume one of your all-time figures too, Big Bird. Oh, before we go too far, here is the instruction booklet for our set. It is a thing of beauty. Like many of the ideas instruction manuals, you've got a few pages right there at the beginning devoted to basically talking about Sesame Street, the fan designers behind it, the designers, the history. Yeah, yeah. It is just a beautiful little instruction booklet, and that deserves a special shout out right there. So digging into the building though, let's get building. Big Bird, Big Bird, Big Bird. That's not just a name. He is truly a big bird. He is 8'2", and for most of Sesame Street's history, he has been played and voiced by the same actor. The actor who suffers quite deeply for his profession. In fact, here is his Big Bird. There, what do you reckon? Gorgeous, isn't he? So there's our beautiful Big Bird there. And yes, I did write this down for a reason. He is voiced and played by somebody? Somebody. Yes, it's very definitely somebody. But it's the same dude for like 50 years. Carol Spinney, who retired only 2 years ago in 2018. So for the majority of that time, it has indeed been Big Bird in the suit. And Big Bird, well, again, like I was saying, he has suffered greatly for his art, including almost dying once or twice because that suit has been lit up on fire more than once or twice. Stage lights, they get hot. And so that can indeed be a thing. All right. So I'm going to jump in partway into the middle of bag one. Because we're not doing all this set as it was laid out here, I'm not going to build the underneath exactly as it would be if we were sticking to the instructions. The instructions, I stand by. Lego instructions should be treated as a guide at best. So let's get with a little itty-bitty bit of building, and let's see how this goes. I might find myself needing some of these parts, but see what we can do. All right. So setting it up with the modular standard, I do need to make sure that 9 studs from the back, we have the little technical, and do the similar from the front. And just to be 100% sure I've got the exact right spots, but I will flip those colours. I think brown is a little bit better for here, because thinking forward, what I want here is I want that little trash pile that Oscar lives in. That's one of the little changes I want to make. I want to shift him to the right side of the building, for how I feel it should be. And, we'll incorporate something. The toy boxes that are in Big Bird's little house, I guess. We'll put those over there. So, yeah, let's get on with the building section. Actually, one of the other things I do need to do is I want to bring the building itself forward a little as well. So I may not actually even bother with as much as the bits that go underneath as the set might suggest we need as well. So, yep. In fact, yeah. Bring it all the way over to here. Always want to build on a good, strong base. But taking a little bit of time to make sure that everything is kind of secure and in the right spot. Now, one of the big changes I do want to make to the set, however, is the... that's in the right spot. Is the flower bed. The flower bed that comes on this side of the little open square. Now, these days, what we get in the backdrop there is a mural of front bridge. It's a big bridge, and the little kind of firehousey thing with the big doors opens up into kind of a classroom. I don't think this will have enough room that, but I want to be able to at least have the facade there on the back 2-3 studs, and then have the idea of the door, and just keep doors closed and build those in somehow. Details to be figured out as I go along, really. So here we are. Then you get to together. Anyway. So yeah, if you're joining in on the stream, how you doing? What are you up to? Hi G May there. Dark? What was dark? I don't remember going too dark. He's talking about the screen? I don't know. I'm just going to assume so. I don't... See, I can't remember quite what I said that triggered that, but Sesame Street has never been afraid of tackling tough subjects. Mr. Hooper, we all... Oh, Big Bird on fire. No, let's be clear. He was fine. He was saved. On the first incident that the costume caught on fire, he did indeed realise himself. On the second time, he was alerted by somebody else on set. Both times he got away injury-free. So, yes, don't worry about poor Big Bird there. He is quite fine. And I believe the actor is enjoying a very nice retirement. Now, one of the other things I will need to do is raise some of this up a little. I'm going to have to get the parts to raise this up a little. Because I'm going to convert it to the modular standard, that means I will eventually, not immediately, tile a lot of this area in front. And I'm wondering how much space I want to keep in front here. I might bring the apartment building just a touch further forward, still. But I'm going to need bits underneath. I'm just kind of wandering around the room and finding those extra bits to give it a bit of a raise up. Now, the standard modular row reserves this section pretty much for the footpath. So I kind of probably do want to bring it one more forward, maybe two more forward. I think two more forward. Might make it a little fun when it comes time to rebuild the rear, but we'll find out, hey? And yeah, Sesame Street has never been afraid of tackling the tough subjects. Mr. Hooper, we all know, if you watched it as a kid, you'd be very familiar with him. He passed away. Sesame Street chose to air an episode focusing on his funeral on way back when. I can't remember the exact date, but they did choose to air it specifically on Thanksgiving because they wanted people to be able to have those conversations about death, etc., with their families and spark those kind of conversations. It was a very deliberate thing that they did at the time. That thing gives us a little height there. Laying a good, nice, solid foundation for the building as we speak. And other things, other tough topics that Sesame Street has tackled over the years. You may remember, if you're old enough, that at one point in time, Snuffleupagus was invisible. Only Big Bird could see him, and Big Bird was convinced he was real. But when anybody else turned up, Snuffleupagus would inevitably disappear. Now, I'm not quite old enough to remember those episodes except on reruns. You may be. The reason for the change came about because they wanted to make sure that if children had something happening to them in their lives, that they could indeed go to their parentals and say, hey, whatever it was is happening, believe me. And make sure that parents would indeed actually believe them. They didn't want to set up the idea that kids wouldn't believe them. And I think that's a very important thing to have happen, and they've done and helped establish there with that. Again, keeping it light and fluffy, of course, but yeah, I don't think you should necessarily steer away from those conversations with your kids, because you need to prepare them for the world, and, well, that's kind of where Sesame Street comes from, do it at an age-appropriate level. The seeds that began Sesame Street, in fact, is that very, very simple question. It comes from an era where children's programming wasn't an amazing thing. It was quite consistently kind of a little bit, maybe awful would be a good word, a word to use for it. It was not a time of great, grandiose, wonderful TV. I might just colour swap. These, well, I kind of will be seeing, but I'm having trouble finding the right colour here. I'm just wondering what I should do. Maybe black. Maybe black instead, seeing these are underneath. I'm just going to bring that part back so I can keep that. So yeah, it started with a very simple question. Sesame Street, that is. It's, can kids' TV be educational? Can it provide that kind of educational focus for preschool education for kids that can't afford preschool? That's how it all basically begins. And this was kind of a revolutionary idea for the time, It was a very different beast, TV, way back when. Raise this up a little as well. We'll need the parts to do that. I did some early preparations here. Do you think I did these bits? I did some colour swapping. How I want to do later. I've got the parts over there for that, but wasn't entirely thought through. Who knows? We'll see how all this goes. All right, let's do a little bit more building here. All right, bringing it all together. But Big Bird facts. I don't know. This bag gives us Big Bird. I'm not sure I've really got that many other Big Bird facts. Snuffleupagus. Big Bird does tie closely to Snuffleupagus. Snuffleupagus has a first name. This may not be known to everybody, but he has a first name. It's Aloysius. Likewise, the Cookie Monster. As you can probably imagine, the Cookie Monster didn't start out being the Cookie Monster. I mean, that'd be a bit of a strange name for monster parents to give their monster child. He is Sid. Initially, this is. All right, so I'm going to need a little bit to raise that up as well. The Cookie Monster started out as Sid. Now, Sesame Street has also found itself many, many different versions all around the world at this point in time. So, Cookie Monster has, oh my gosh, I just need a few 8x8s, 1x8. Do you think I can find them? I might have to improvise. That's always the name of the game, isn't it? Here it is. Here's one of them. I'll use this. It's a little dirty, but that kind of fits, right? So Cookie Monster has a British cousin who is predictably called the Biscuit Monster, which I think is kind of cool. I certainly do. Alright, continuing with the raising bits up. Put those over there for when I inevitably need them. And have I miscalculated the space? No, that should be flying up. What have I missed? I missed something. I think I need more 1x2s. Anyway, if you're jumping in the stream, say hi in the chat. Otherwise, it's just me talking to myself. I never know what to say. Always feels a little weird talking to myself. I don't know. I don't know what you think. You tell me. Line that up a little better than I had. Oopsie doopsies. There we go. I had the other little bee that went there, didn't I? There it is. And now I think we have the right foundation to start actually making this look like a something. Magic sparkler hands there. I missed my calling. Looks like I'm going to need those there. I wonder how much support I'm going to need from that. Seeing I'm going to extend the back just a little here, you see. Guess we will find out. I'll make sure for now. I can always strip parts out later. It can be a little tricky. Sometimes you end up breaking more than you intend. But for now, let's take care of that. Alrighty. Goes there. Another big long one of them. Over there. And oh my gosh. This, the 1x2 bracket. I'm not sure I've seen those in the downwards ones. Well, actually, any of the 1x2 brackets in town as yet. So I do love to see some good new parts. Interesting things that they're choosing to put in the basement here. I don't know why, but they are. Spiders on a web. I guess other little things. I mean, in its early days, there was a darker version of Sesame Street we had once upon a time. You know, like, sure, some of it's rumors and possibly crazy rumors at that. Like, the Count doesn't eat kids. You know, well, if you've heard that rumor, and some people indeed have, it's not true. He doesn't eat kids. He's not that kind of Count. He does get around. He's had 3 lovers over the course of the year, quite confirmed. Most of the Muppets are treated, or the residents on Sesame Street are treated as being children, and therefore is not in any, like Brett and Ernie. Okay, let's dismiss this right now. There's no relationship between them. There would never be, in a child's universe, a relationship between them. So, you know, if you think that's a thing, you're wrong, okay? But the Count, he gets around. He's significantly older, and I had the exact number for his age. Like, he's really old, like 2 million years old. He was born on October 9th, 1,830,653 BC. Like, that's ancient. And he's had not 1, not 2, not 3 lady friends. Countess Darling von Darling, Lady 2, and Countess von Backwoods. So once upon a time, he also wasn't so nice. He did indeed just hypnotize and stun people. You know, mild vampiric powers. So, because why not? I mean, if you're an ancient vampire, maybe that's I don't know, comes off a little strange. I mean, again, kids programming, why would he be doing something like that? I think I'm going to flip this. Getting this to sit in properly. This would probably be trouble. The real instructions too. Which way do you insert it? There you go. That actually fits perfect. If I'd been paying more attention, I probably would have noticed. Alrighty. And it doesn't shy away from those extra colours inside the base here. Setting up our little house, apartment building. A little later, in later sets, it becomes Bert and his house. I think Elmo gets on the ground floor here. Oh, which is cool. Alrighty. Just making sure I've got all of this together as it should be. There we go, coming together. Starting to look, at least from this angle, starting to look like the beginning of a, probably should get the camera a little deeper. Let's see if that works. How does that work? Close off that little bit of the room there. Does that help a little? Oh, maybe a little. Anyway, building mostly for me here. I'm enjoying this. You know, I do this bit for me. Talking helps, I guess with the... Yeah. Go. I bet that's going to have to be lifted up later. I might even do it now because I can see what is going to come there later. Now, later on, I think I'm going to have to convert this to a garden bed anyway. But, and yeah, I do end up with a lot of pieces left over, and some of them are indeed 1x8s. We'll see what can kind of happen there a little later. I want to put gutters in and other bits. Not yet, though. I probably won't get this all finished today anyway. So, just going to push all of that backwards. Alrighty. So continuing on with the bag here. Opening up bag 2. Bag 2 gives us Elmo. Elmo, who is, well, Elmo's pretty darn famous in his own right. Like, he's become a very popular Sesame Street character. He is the only non-human to ever testify in front of Congress. I believe that was 2002. I'd have to double check. And it was in support of better children's education funding. And again, I have to check the exact details. But he did wear a suit and tie. Man looks good in a suit and tie. Oh, boy, Elmo. I don't know. He's perpetually 3 years old. He's been 3 years old for a very long time. So, alright. We start to get a lot of teeny parts in this bag. We get a little bit more for Big Bird's lair. I kind of want to call it a lair. It's, it would have been cool to see Snuffleupagus as one of the figures in this set. I'm just going to say that straight up. Now, this is definitely something I want to extend a little. I've got a few little kind of extra doors here that I can kind of play with. I want to give it more bulk there at the back, but that might have to end up being a thing for another time. I kind of want to get the main thrust of the building done, so I'll play around with this for just a little bit and see how we go. Oh, hang on, sorry. I should have showed you how it's looking at the... There's probably would have been. If you can kind of imagine that that's what bag 1 gives you. Big Bird comes out of bag 1. the very beginnings. I do like the little detail of the spider and the web there, but that'll just completely lost once you cover it up and there's no light shining through there. So, you know, potato, potato. Your mileage might vary. Not all bad. Alright. So little details here at the back. I'm definitely adding more length to the rear there. It's just a matter of how and where to position the kind of gate. That might work. Yeah, that gives me enough of the right shaping. Keep the wall there flat and I'll be fine. Ooh. Looks like we're about to get some cool, well, not exactly new parts, but recolored parts. Here we go. Yeah, blue, but studs on alternate sides. That's kind of cool. Very cool. Very cool. It excites me. Alrighty, that would go there. It's going to need a little support on that side, so I'm just going to put that there to make that happen. So, alrighty. Yeah. We'll start giving it some shaping here. Seems maybe, yep. Coming together there, very beginnings of it anyway. This might be the tricky sections where I start to actually break what the established grid was. We'll see. We'll keep some of the heart of it. Accidentally dropping pieces. Cooly doos. Right, a little bit more building here. We've got the beginnings of the entryway to the apartment building. Every now and again in the show you see the doors open up. They don't exactly go very deep, as you can imagine. I mean, it is a TV set. But you do get to see that little bit inside. But it is nice that they've kind of kept just enough to kind of maintain that. We do, where's my 1x8? There we are. That goes in there. Of course, I will be extending, so therefore I will need to put in a little more behind, but again, that's not necessarily immediately happening. The one thing I did want to make change, though, was make sure this side is all tan, whereas the set would make you have it be dark red. So those are the parts I made sure I was ready to swap already. So I'm going to start that process now, I guess. Of colour swapping, that is. Right. Nice little beginnings of furniture in our house. This is going to be a bed, I believe. I don't know. We'll see on the next page. Not a bed yet. It's getting there. It's getting there. Hello? I've just had somebody join me. Are you coming to join my live stream, Frost Jr.?
What is that?
It is Sesame Street. The camera, if you want to be seen, come say hello. This is Frost Jr.
Sesame Street is for kids.
I'm a kid. I'm a big kid. I'm a very big kid. See? There you are. How you doing, dude?
Sesame Street is the worst. Shut up, Elmo.
What? Does Elmo talk too much? Would you ban Elmo from Sesame Street? Did you know there are actually several very prominent, at the time, Sesame Street figures who are no longer around for various reasons?
Old Sesame Street, shut up, go home, and don't come out.
We're having a bit of a bad day, are you, my bud? Whoa! Whoa, that was maybe
Elmo's
too far.
now dead.
Dude!
Big Bird kept his nose out.
I know you've been up the other end of the house playing Spider-Man. Do you?
Big Bird can now shoot web. Pew 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 pew. Reminded me of Spider-Man.
Well, Big Bird is not the resident superhero of Sesame Street. Can you name the resident superhero of Sesame Street?
Grover.
Is it though? Because here's a very important fun fact. Did you know that Grover is not the secret identity of Super Grover? Because Super Grover would be the right answer for the superhero, but Super Grover is, I believe, Clark Grover? I did, again, facts I wrote down. Yeah. I enjoyed I had a fun morning looking up weird Sesame Street facts.
Mum wants me to come out. Do you think I should?
Oh, yes, I think maybe you should listen to Mum.
No.
Yeah. Unless you got to contribute. So Clark something, Super Grover is, Grover Kent. He's a doorknob salesman. This is true. This has been revealed on screen. I would not lie to you.
He's talking about Superman.
No, I'm talking about Super Grover.
Superman, Super Grover.
Super Grover is not quite as effective as Superman. Superman has way more amazing powers. I think you should listen to Mum. I think she really wants you to head over that way. No?
Don't.
Oh, oh. Mum went hardcore. Right. Continuing with our building here. I'm going to only put in beginnings of the shaping for the door frames and bits inside behind Big Bird's apartment, because I suspect later I'm going to want to do more there. Just not as yet. So we'll see how all of that goes. Yeah. I'm going to definitely want to play with some of that shaping there and do other cool little things with the backdrop. Make a bit more of a nest there for Big Bird. Anyway, yeah. So, remiss of me, I should thank our guest for coming on. Thank you, Frost Jr., for your contributions to today's live stream. Alrighty. I've forgotten anything there. No, it's all looking good. An interesting little piece of furniture coming together here. Did I do that wrong? I did. The bed head should not be the part with rail. It should be the 1x2. Part by rail goes there. Good use of the snot ratio there to use the bracket and the two plates to get flush to the wall that is shaping up in behind it. A little bit of bedding, base of the bed. And there are some awesome new little parts in here, awesome new little recolors. I'll mention a few more of those in just a moment. But I mean, amongst other parts that I'm really enjoying in recent sets are these little 1x1 with the roll over the top. I don't know quite what to call them. But yeah, gorgeous little parts, those. And check out this little bed. This is what we end up with for our little bed. That is super duper cool. How cool is that? Very, very. There's only one answer there. It is very cool. Super cool. That is super cool as a guest appearance by Frost Jr. I don't mind. He's my man. Alrighty. I guess there is the issue of it being live. Alright, I'm not going to say too much. Alrighty. Bringing the shaping, getting a little bit more sense of the apartment, a little bit more sense of the bedroom here already. It's certainly coming together. I've got the shaping for the steps coming together here. Man, a bag with a whole bunch of 1x1s and a 1x1s with the studs on the side mixed together, so you can't quite tell what's what if they're upside down. Like, I usually avoid those kind of things. It's interesting that this bag, and that here is, it is worth saying, this set is very heavy on stickers. That's not entirely bad. I believe there are also some printed parts yet to come, but right now we've got a whole bunch of stickers. I'm not going to apply them right now, but I think I will definitely apply them at some point in time. I'm just going to make sure that I do it right. So that's why I'm not doing it immediately. I'm going to get out the old scalpel and the spray and do it just like pitch perfect. And while I'm doing all of that, like I said, I wanted to color match this side to the tan of the building. So I've got a few little parts to change that stuff up. Because amongst other things, is this panel here. We'll change the way the interior of the room looks. It's not solid deep enough that is a consideration there, but worth highlighting. And the Sesame Street steps shaping up here beautifully. Eventually there'll be a little bit of graffiti on this side of the wall. Like this. How's that looking? Double check. Cool. And I dropped something there. I don't know what it was. I'll figure it out soon. Cool. And getting a little bit of railing there on our front of our steps. It's a very nice way to do it too. Quite liking the shaping, the way this comes together. There we go. Oops, I've just used the wrong. Because yes, so it is worth highlighting. That is the new 1x1 bracket in the medium dark flesh. Cool new colours for that there. Don't believe we've seen that in that colour before. This is a very recent part. We haven't had many variations of it at all. I believe it was the final wave of sets from 2019 were the first time we started to see it. Alrighty. Alright. So, and setting up for the door, the little hinges, or clips rather, that will hold our door inside. Starting to put those in place. There are a lot of beautiful sets in this set, or parts rather, a lot of beautiful parts in this set. I believe it's 1,832 from memory. I might need to be corrected on that, I don't know. But many parts, many beautiful parts. In this set. Alright. And now for the other side of our door. Let's go here. making sure that this is all correcto mundo. I'm not 100% sure if that should be that or would be. I'm going to go with clear. Might find out I've done that wrong a little later. Guess we will find out together. It's fun. It's fun. Alrighty. There we go. Coming together nicely. Should you have been Okay. And again, that's a little tricky to tell immediately. I doubt that would be. Why would that be studded on that side? Guess we're about to find out. I may have done that wrong. So because of the angle of the instructions, I'll tell you what I'm talking about here. Is that piece a stud on the side or not? Likewise, was one of those a stud on side or not? Bit tricky to tell just by looking at it because you can't quite see if there's anything around the other side there. 2x3s. I should have more of them sitting in front of me, shouldn't I? And I did have all the bags for number 2, so got lots of 4s. I should have more 1x3s in... No, I've done that part. Oh. See, easily distracted today. It's been another long week for me. Oh, I'll be honest. It's being busy, full of all kinds of things. I suspect I have done one of those wrong. I think I should have had more studs somewhere along the way. Might become a problem in a little bit. Nothing insurmountable. It's okay. And here is where we're at. Alright. Another one of the beautiful little details I love of this set. Just a little lampshade coming out of the wall. I'll show it to you in just a tick. Where are we? 2x2. 1x2. Too high. And there you are. Yes, the little lampshade on the wall there. It's gorgeous, that is. Absolutely gorgeous. Cool. I'm setting that there. And yeah, I was right. They are meant to be studs there. That's okay. I did get that right. Wasn't 100% sure. Because these little green tiles go there. Woohoo! Coming together, looking a little bit more street-like there. Looking awesome. Completing our little phone for the back wall. Gosh. Phone's connected to a landline. That's, may as well be a trip in the Wayback Machine right there. Better double check. Goes underneath as well. There should have been a dark tan bitty on top. Probably would have connected to all this section here. I'm just going to make sure it is in place. Put that there to be useful. Lines everything else up. Specifically this. Yep, lines up neatly. And yeah, I'll spin it all around and show it in just a moment. So, cool. Let's finish up the section. Finishing up the details of the door arch. I do feel like I've got one too many with studs on side and not quite enough without. So that might be a thing. Let's see, I presume in a moment I'm going to have to turn it all around, you see. And then we'll find out. There we go, that's clicking in proper. Yeah, as I said, one of the little things I'm doing, swap up the set, changing the colour, keeping this wall tan. It does change the interior there a little. There's nothing stopping me adjusting a little bit and being cheeky with that feature wall. Though it's not even really going to be seen once it actually goes on display. So maybe I won't even bother at all, because it does trouble me that there's no dividing wall between what would be the entryway to the building and Elmo's bedroom right there. I find that odd. Very odd. Like, the dude just wants some privacy as he sleeps. Coolie doors. Coming together. A little Sesame Street here. And a little birdhouse section goes on over here. I do like that. So many beautiful little details in the set so far. The birdhouse up on the wall where, I forget the name of Big Bird's little bird friend that comes along sometimes and just kind of tweets along. But, because I got to admit, I do not watch Sesame Street much at all. It's not something that, well, you probably picked up by Frost Jr.'s reactions there. He considers himself a little too old for it. And that's okay. I can kind of understand why somebody might consider themselves too old for Sesame Street, but it is one of the classics. Absolutely one of the classics. It's where we all learned our alphabet song, right? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I dare anyone of a certain age bracket, my age bracket, to count to 12 without singing it to that tune. Can't be done. Can't be done. Saying it there. Alright. And yes, delightful little bits that we do get in the set. Here's one of our first printed parts. 1, 2, 3, Sesame Street. And Sesame Street is now in real street in New York. It wasn't... Initially, when they named Sesame Street, they wanted it to feel very generic. They wanted it to take place anywhere. They tried not to give it an exact address. They almost did, though. It was almost called... the show, this is, was almost called 123 Avenue B. They ended up going with Sesame Street in the end, but only a few years ago, New York City renamed one of their streets to Sesame Street in honor of this show. So there is now a real place in New York called Sesame Street. Alrighty. Bringing together our little Sesame Streety bits here. Let's start putting that on to get the straightness. Oh, actually, I better leave that bit. That's going to lock other stuff into pies, isn't it? Anyway, if you're joining the live stream, I can see a few people dropping in and out there and doing their things. Say hello in the chat. Otherwise, it's just kind of me talking to myself, listening to my own voice, talking about stuff. The Ramsey Street is a real street. It's you can take the tour of this city. And hi, Roxer, how you doing, my man? Hope your day's been doing you well. Say, we've got Sesame Street here. Everybody loves a bit of Sesame Street, right? I think it was part of many of our childhoods. It's a very important part of our childhoods. Alrighty. And yeah, this sliding into place there. Out in place. That is just some beautiful engineering to make those little window frames there. Really captures the look and feel with very minimal parts. The original idea submission was a little bit more complex than this. And this strikes a nice balance. It keeps that childlike fun aspect to this set that you'd expect from the Sesame Street kind of IP, but balances off with some really beautiful little details and could still absolutely belong on any AFOL's shelf. We're just making a few little changes so that we can fit it into a modular Rose City along the way too. And so we'll see what extra changes are needed. For now, we're just putting in the basics of the set itself. Yeah, well, city's opening up. We can all start getting out of the house again. That's going to be beautiful. Impromptu gaming. What kind of gaming have you got planned? Or should I not ask? I don't know. This is for kids, theoretically. Let's just double checking for all that. So this is meant to be a little kind of alarm. There we go. Alarm bells for the walls there. And somebody is sneaking into my office again. Hello, Frost Jr. I might be alerting a certain mother figure. She might figure it out. And then she'll be like, what are you doing, Frost Jr.? Are you looking for toys or my Lego parts? What kind of Lego parts? The Lord of the Rebellion needs a house. How about I help you build that a little later?
I already made the front of it.
Oh, you've made the front?
Because I don't need to have the reasonable... I don't think I have enough parts.
Okay. I feel like I should discourage this a little bit. Maybe I should call out someone.
4x2. Yeah, 4x2.
In there. Cheeky little monkey. RPGs, board games, yeah. Yeah, I'm wondering if I should start setting up something better here in this house. I don't know, a bit short for space. Lego will do that to you in this house. I think you'll figure it out. I really like these were little crystally pearly studs. We first saw those in... Ooh, I built that level up enough. We first saw these little pearlescent studs in the dots sets, so it's nice to see them outside of a dot set and being used for detailing here. It is some beautiful, fun work. Better double check. I got all of those little bits. It's all looking good. That though should have been a little spaced further out. And then that there. Alright. Got the... And yep, I did miss a little bit along here, yes? I'll have to help you later, dude.
No, I need them.
Yeah, but they're a little tricky to find. Tubs are underneath the tile. Windows are underneath the tiles. So, yep, keep going. That way, that way, that way. No, further along. Last set of racks. So you can see the one wide flat tiles. second drawer up, above the tyres. So look at the tyres and the next tub up. Yeah, there you go. Careful with that one, that's going to be heavy. Yep, good job, my man. Well, some of them will have glass in them, not all of them. You may need to come back a little while later. Yeah, Brunswick is a good central location. That's kind of important game, I think. So going back to the stream over here, juggling a million things in once, because, you know, that's how I roll. Yeah.
Can't even juggle it.
What? I juggle all the time.
You're not actually juggling.
Have you seen my amazing juggling skills? I have amazing juggling skills. I might be making a half of that up.
You might be making all of it up.
Oh. Rumbled. You've rumbled me. So if you're just tuning into the stream, turns out we have a cheeky child for sale. Free to a good home. I told you.
He's just trying to cover up that he wants to sale $1.
I want to what?
100% off. He's just trying to cover that up.
Ah. All right. I've got a few more spare parts left over than I feel like I should. I feel like I've missed something. Probably the furniture that goes inside the house. This is the camera. So here we have a little cheeky child stealing parts.
I'm not supposed to be here. Just pretend I'm not here.
I think they know.
Knock off. Where's the devil's breath?
Too much Spider-Man for you. Spider-Man is making you crazy.
I've already finished the game, man. For some reason, I've only discovered 1% of Spider-Man now. 1%.
Ah, well. I can help you play a little bit more later if you want. I can play more.
I mean, I do know about Felicia Hardy.
Oh, horrifying secret, that one, right? She's like that.
Everyone who doesn't know Spider-Man?
Yes, Spider-Man, the 2018 game. We recently got Miles Morales, which is a great game, so we've kind of been going back and replaying. And yeah, quite a few spare parts growing over here. I'll be able to make good use of them soon. I feel like I should do a little bit better to clear them away. Otherwise, the space is going to get too cluttered. I don't know. But, bag 3. Bag 3 comes in 2 parts. Now that the cheeky little son of mine has run away, bag 3 gives us Bert, Ernie. I always get the two confused. I'm pretty sure it's Bert that has the rubber ducky, because the rubber ducky is, of course, super duper famous. There are a few super duper famous songs that have come out of Sesame Street, but none are more famous than Rubber Ducky, You're the One, because it charted at number 16 on the Billboard charts. The only Sesame Street album to do so. Oh, sorry, Sesame Street song. There have been several Sesame Street albums. I'm not 100% sure exactly how many. But that one there, it was, and sometime in the 70s, I'd have to double check the exact date. I did write it down. But here we have the Rubber Ducky, the titular Rubber Ducky. In fact, yes, Rubber Ducky facts. Let's get into Rubber Ducky facts. First, did you know that Bert has a twin? But we'll come back to Bert. The writer of the Rubber Ducky song also wrote People in Your Neighborhood and I Love Trash, both very other famous songs from, and the Rubber Ducky is considered a percussion instrument by the Boston Pops. It was 1970 that it reached the number 16 on the Billboard charts. Yeah. Rubber Ducky facts there for you. I think there are a few icons more classic to the kind of Sesame Street world than Rubber Ducky. And here's our little Ernie. Isn't he gorgeous? He's gorgeous. Now making the doors for our little Sesame Street front door. Turning it around now too. The instructions suggest we turn it around, so let's do so. Get a better look at that interior now. I think I might, should be longer than that. Just double checking it all lines up properly. Good use of the new, and that's actually a dark brown. It's a little hard to pick up, but that is the 1x3 smooth on the bottom with little pinhole, bar hole in the bottom. Let's put the glass panes where the glass panes go for now. Make it a little easier to find parts on what is becoming a bit of a crowded bench. Quite often the way. I don't feel right just sweeping it all on the floor. Did that more than once on Lego Masters. Usually we had a tub though, like a tub just outside a shot that you could just kind of sweep stuff into. It's very useful that. I mean, there's always that time pressure. You don't want to be messing around with the wrong parts when you need the right parts. And putting our door on now. There we go. Door number 1. Yeah, that gives you a sense of what it's starting to look like inside. And now for door number 2. It's really just the same thing, reverse built. I need my little jumper plate. Where is my jumper plate? There it is. Yes, way too much. I should definitely get something to kind of sweep all of this stuff onto the floor with. What time is it? Just past 5 o'clock. Cool. Clipping that into place. There's a bit of a gap there. I'm not quite happy with that gap. It wouldn't be hard to fix, but I'm not 100% sure it's entirely necessary either. And little bits to help support the next layer up. There are already a few considerations for the kind of modular styling, for want of a better word. Usually it's good to make sure that that next floor up kind of is a little gentle in the way it connects. Let's just make sure that's all seeing stuff properly here. Yeah, that's seeing it right. Cool. Cool. It's a little tidy. Not too much. You guys out of the way to begin with. So I'll get the rest out of the way in a moment. Alrighty. Setting up for another set of windows, the second floor of windows here. And a one by one, standard one by one next to it. Ooh. The beginnings of what will be a billboard on this side and the sidewalk. And yeah, certainly once I start connecting it to the second base plate, those are the little details I want to take a little bit more time to kind of basically make happen here. So the big open plan kind of room that we've got shaping up here. There should be window panes for these. I'm not seeing them. I guess they can go in when I find them. Just one. Yes, completely 100% buried under other parts. That would be why they were completely 100% invisible. Alright. Assuming you're going to go there in about 2 seconds. Little detailing for the wall there. You gotta see what's taking shape here, right? Oh. Melbourne here, we're heading into summer. How do you feel about summer? Probably should inject a little conversation into the day. Yes, summer, it is on the horizon. I'm not a big summer fan. I don't like it when it's hot. I do prefer being inside in the middle of winter with the heater on or whatever, but not too hot, you know. That was meant to be started on side. I'm just going to jump ahead a little too, because I bet this is how that goes. Just get a few more parts out of the way, so I'm not thinking, don't have the same amount of visual noise there. Yes, not a summer fan. I have gotten a bit better into beach board territory. Won't feel quite as embarrassed going to the beach this year. Back at the gym, enjoying the gym. I mean, oh gosh, it is so awesome to be able to just head back to the gym, really. Have definitely missed that. Lockdown life being what it is. A nice use of the new little triangular 1x1 part there to give us our little milk carton lid. That little part, otherwise known as the foot killer. Fine tradition in Lego sets. center. Cool. I'll turn it all back around for now, because that's what the instructions would have to do. This is what we're kind of looking at here, at this point, on the front of our building. A little bit more detailing. It's about to clip in here, and this is a really nice way of setting up the clips, holding them in place to be able to do so. Alright. Stood on side. Where are you? Why do I feel like I'm missing you? There we are. Alright, that girl goes in there. And now to set up... Oh, sorry, let's fix up a little bit of the extra little detailing that goes here. And this is, again, another recolor part. We haven't had the love heart part in many sets yet. We have had it in pearl gold, pink, red. We've got a printed version with the Tin Man, but here I believe it is our first time seeing that part in tan, which is awesome. And I totally put that thing upside down. Upside down, upside down. Let's reverse it around. Coolies. Channeling my other childhood. I mean, Mr. Squiggle. Where is that? I think that's due for a comeback. That should be on TV. I'd make a good Mr. Squiggle. I could draw, make jokes along the way. But there's something I don't know behind the scenes. That's the reason we have not seen a Mr. Squiggle in the intervening years, which would be a real pity. Because, you know, things I'd like to see come back, Mr. Squiggle. He's up there. Just wonder why we had never seen that on our screen since. Everything else gets replays or reboots. Seems to be how the world works these days. Where's my Mr. Squiggle reboot? Gosh darn it! Give me some upside down man from the moon drawing squiggles. Very cheap TV to make too, surely. Could be that hard. Bring in a couple of snails. I mean, snails work for cheap. Occasional vegetable end. They're happy. Week old carrot. That's it. Alrighty. Almost done here with bag 3. I'm going to take a little bit of time and effort to clear this space. It's getting very messy here. See, like there's a 1x1. I know it's there. Cannot see it for the life of me. 1x1 in tan. There it is. Nice little detailing to the brickwork there. Gives a little bit of texture, breaks it up on the front. That's what we're ending up with here. Yes. Summer is very definitely hot, wet, and humid there, Roxo. I am 100% with you. Who needs that kind of negativity in their life, right? Give me some nice, fresh, cool weather. I can wander around, rugged up nicely. I don't know. Doesn't have to be rugged up. I guess that's not entirely necessary. Do love the little detailing they've used for the very classic New York architecture that Sesame Street draws from. Having seen a lot of New York architecture recently in the Spider-Man game, I must confess that it has been my main source of exposure to New York architecture. Not a bad way to do it, right? Swing around the city, buy webs. Where did that go? Onto my lap. Alrighty, coming together. And here we have most of our first little side to our little, big Sesame Street building. Same basic windows we did before. Certainly for architecture, it's always good to kind of spin those details out and keep to the established norms. Repetition being an important part of buildings. I think I've said this more than once in the past. I suspect we're about to see something different for some of the different sections though, so I better be a little slower with some of that. Slow my roll. There we go. Window number 1 is done. There you go. My best count voice. Not my best at all. I could do better than that. Yeah, the Count is by far my favourite Sesame Street character. I guess you would go a little crazy after a million years. I wonder if he's made an appearance in Into the Shadows yet. Here we go. We've got most of our little Sesame Street building coming together. The apartment block. There's not that many bags in this set. It's 6 bags. Some of those bags are double bags, like there's 2 bags sharing the same number kind of thing. I don't know however you want to phrase that. But yeah, it's not a huge set. Yet, still, 1,800 parts. I think we're about well, we have to be about halfway through. I'm taking it a little easy, to be honest. Certainly not rushing things. Here we have the beginnings of what will be our bathtub. A bit of splashing around. I can't imagine that Ernie takes the cleanest of baths. He does strike me as the kind of person who would certainly make a mess along the way. And it's okay. You know, have a little fun, splash about. Sing about your love for rubber duckies. I ain't judging. Each their own. And rubber duckies are cool. Like. I don't know, actually. I never had a rubber ducky. Did you have a rubber ducky? I'm not even quite sure how many people are present right now. I think there's a few of us. If you had a rubber ducky, it was a big part of your life. It is worth mentioning, this is not the classic trans blue. I suspect this is another part that has come out of the dot sets. It's got a kind of a pearlescence vibe, the little 1x1 round tile. The splashes that we've got for our bubble bath, well yeah, it's always a bubble bath, we're learning. So, our bubble bath filming there. And the emergence of new parts allowing us to do different things with the shaping for bars. I'm expecting a very nicely detailed bath right now. It's tricky to do bars and stuff at minifigure scale. New parts have certainly made this easier over the years. Alrighty. Yeah, that's what we end up with. A few more little details to go with it. The backdrop behind. Here we go. Excuse me just a moment. Alright. The curtain for behind. And where was that little rubber ducky? The rubber ducky goes along the edge. This is what we end up with. And it just slots straight in here at the back. There we go. Just double check that can all be seen. What do you reckon there? Little rubber ducky in the bathtub. Show it again. Just make sure that can be properly seen. Got that sense of water in the bottom. I think I'm going to fill that with just a little trans blue gems, probably would be the way to do it. And yeah, clips in there. Just making sure that sits down properly. There we go. And now for the rest of the floor. And another dark green. Where is the other? There we are. Not much there as yet. That goes in there, creates more of the floor to our next level there. We get a very simple little light to go on the wall there above our little ducky thing. So there we go, little light. Fits in there over our little... I am quite liking this level. The bottom level feels a little blank. I feel like I'm missing something in there. That is what it looks like in the instructions there. The top level is looking a little better. I'm definitely going to adjust a little bit more, especially given that I've extended this. I'm going to have figure out what to do with these rear 8 studs. So that does give me extra room to do something in here. And I think it'd be nice just to have a removable wall there at the rear so you can kind of see in. I might also still step everything forward. I do want the square next to it to be visible and have something happening there. And that brings us to the end of bag 3, though. Get these little spare parts out of the way. Awesome. And this is just past the midway point for what the build would ordinarily be too. Because I've clearly got a son who wants a little bit more of attention from day to day, I might actually just wrap it up once we've done this building, and then I'll come back and show you the rest sometime during the week, hopefully, maybe. I don't know, see when I get it finished. But I want to, I don't want to do it vanilla to the instructions, you see. And as I've said multiple times, what I do want is really to capture that a little bit more of the sense from the show itself and find a way to incorporate that into a more traditional Lego city kind of build. Okay. So yeah, get to all of that in a minute. That, and I can also feel the hay fever coming on. Man, it has been such a rotten season for it. If you're a hay fever sufferer, you have my sympathy, all my empathies, all of them. It's not the season for it. Which is kind of why I'm not a big spring fan. I'm definitely not a summer fan. And that's all got to do with hay fever, really. Oh, I should absolutely mention, this bag gives us Bernie's, Bert's very stuffy housemate. There have been rumours about the relationship between Bert and Ernie right now. Let's make it quite clear right now that they are merely housemates. They don't even always like one another. This is from the mouths of the puppeteers and voice actors behind them. They don't even necessarily always like one another, let alone think of anything else beyond that. Hello! Yes, that is a very cool Doc Octopus. Hey dude, I'll be with you in a few moments and we'll play some of the game together. Yeah, I'll help you build. Yeah. Well, I want to see what it looks like. So this part of the build would bring us a few more stickers. I'm not doing that yet. And yeah, sounds like I'm very definitely getting pulled away in a few moments by a little one. Alright, so this little section of the build gives us a little bit more furniture coming together here. Oh, gotta blow my nose again, sorry. And again, beautiful use of the new 1x1. Here to help create this little chair we've got coming together here with the kind of hillocky top, I don't know, curved, rounded top. It's only curved in one direction. I'm not quite sure what the exact name for it is. But that looks quite cute. That sits there. And yeah, extending this back a little bit, it means I'll be able to put in a wall for the bathroom. I do want to give space to the two beds. Bert and Ernie having their beds side by side in the room. That's a key feature, I guess. All very familiar with. So I'll push that a little bit back, a bit better. You guys want to see the actual building, right? And so yes, the beds are identical. The 2x2 bracket with, studs on side kind of thing. In green, lime green there. Cool colour for that. I'm not sure I've seen it in lime green before. We did get it recently in sand green as well in, oh my gosh, I should have another one of these. Oh, there it is, hidden. Yeah, we got it in sand green in the recent Halloween brickhead. It was cool. Cool. Just double checking what I'm meant to be doing there. Studs on the bottom corners. Little feet for our beds coming together. And then, yeah, I think after this I'll wrap it up for the day. And then we'll do a quick edit. Do something quick and short, putting it all together, showing the final build. Like, it won't drop immediately, but it will. Like, eventually. And you get to see what I made it look like. Which was awesome, right? It's always awesome. Yeah. Awesome. These are really quite cute little bits. I'll show them to you in just a second. Really coming together quite prettily. They've got the necessary studs. You can choose to have little Bert and Ernie there. Because, well, I know Bert did. This is worth pointing out. So we've got Bert and Ernie here. Ernie gets the short legs. Ernie is traditionally a little shorter. But Bert, he gets our new half in between kind of posable short legs. So you can actually sit in the chair while Bert rubber duckies or whatever, you know, however they spend their days. And all of that was completely off screen, wasn't it? Ah, okay. See that? Yeah. It's all good. Cool. Just making sure this is all wrapped up as it should be. So we get our bed head shape there, which should be familiar. I'm not sure that's actually changed the shape of their bed head or that kind of. Like, we have certainly seen changes to all of the Sesame Street sets over the years, but not always that big in terms of changes. And I'm pretty sure one of the things that has remained constant is indeed the shape of Bert and Ernie's beds, side by side with that kind of shaping behind. I'm sure there are Sesame Street superfans out there who would be able to let me know how much of that I did or didn't get wrong, though. I mean, Sesame Street, it's super duper popular. Returning to Sesame Street facts. Sesame Street has become so popular that it has been, there are versions of it all over the world, in 70 different languages, in fact. Being produced around the world, including Afghanistan, which has its own version of Sesame Street. In that one, due to cultural taboos, they have no Oscar the Grouch. Meanwhile, I believe it's the Israeli version, has its own special version of Oscar the Grouch called Moish Oshnik, and I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, but let's give that another try. Moish Oshnik, which means grouch in Hebrew, okay? South Africa's version has a HIV positive Muppet. Sorry. A HIV positive Muppet called Cammy. She is a bit of a controversial figure, unfortunately. I believe it's a she for that character. Ooh, this is nice. This is the Minecraft head that we've seen in a few sets, but no printing on there, just plain white to create a lampshade. Beautiful little lampshade there. Just double check I've got all the shaping right there for that. That sits between our two little beds. It goes in our second little bed. And that's what we end up with there. How cool is that interior? That is gorgeous. Yeah, looking right. A few little changes. I'll be able to get a little bit more space in there. Extra 8 studs in front. I think what I will do with them is reposition. So the beds are along this wall. And that way I can have Bert and Ernie at the windows there. And maybe even reposition how Bert is in the bathtub there. So you can really get that sense of the bathtub, just kind of, if you look in from the front window. Alright, the little details for the rear walls here. Oh, this is a technique worth pointing out. If you haven't discovered this technique for yourself, headlight bricks. They gave a little texture to the front of the building. But here, shelves are meant to be delicate things. So putting shelves in minifigure scale rooms, that by itself can be a bit tricky. Here, I've just used the headlight bricks to give us the anti-studs, and then the brackets to slide on in. Not easily, I might add. I probably should have gone in before the beds. I'll just continue to at the go bed. And there we go. Into its place. Now, a little bowling ball, I guess. Why you would sleep with a bowling ball above your head is beyond me. It sounds like a recipe for disaster. I'm sure that's gone wrong at least once. Alright. This would call for a few more stickers as well. Little items to go on top of the beds. A cute little monster chart on the wall. And the painting of Bert and Ernie before. All of this comes on stickers. All of this comes on the sticker sheet there. Or is that a button collection? I think it's meant to be a button collection. I do remember something about Bert being a bit of a button collector. It might be bottle caps, I can't exactly remember. Alright. Beginning of the details of the roof. This is one of those other small things I may change along the way. Given I want to change it to a modular standard, having that open roof there, I might instead put it in a skylight. But I like that little V there, the way it creates that. The ability to see in to the building. So you don't lose all those internal details there. But yeah, that's one of those little things I'm going to change. I'm going to adjust it to be a skylight. And again, another recolored brick. I don't believe we've seen these in that colour yellow before. That's the darker yellow right there. Maybe a water tank on top too. I think that'd be a nice detail to add. I wonder. Little detailing for those top corners there. I'll show that in just a moment, but let's see if we can get that a little bit further back so we're not doing all the building offside. Almost to the end of bag 4, and I think that's where we'll wrap it up. Give me a few moments. I'll be with you too. Alright. Go, getting the detailing of the top there. It's always an important feature as far as I'm concerned, detailing on the top of roofs. Whatever that detailing is, you know, but a hint of an HVAC system, or aerials, or water tanks, or whatever. Chimneys. They can't just be straight up blank, though. I don't think it works if they're just straight up blank. It's a very easy spot to skimp on details too. And this, here are the new candlesticks in black. We haven't seen those in black yet. I think this is the first time we've gotten that. And a hint of smoke coming out there. And just in a very small little area, we've got some really beautiful little detailing there. It makes me wonder what we'll see coming down the pipe with future Christmas trains, for instance. Those are not parts we've had available for many of the previous trains, and it really opens up some great opportunities or detailing that we can add to future trains. Lego trains being an important part of the Lego subculture, but they kind of get forgotten about a little bit because they're not a huge chunk of the market at the same time either. But yeah, those guys who really do amazing things with trains, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing where that takes it. It looks like we're putting together a pigeon coop here for our little pigeon lover. Can't have enough pigeons, right? How many pigeons do you need in life? More. Always more, I believe, is the answer. There we go. Pigeon coop, little rooftop details. Here we have the pigeons themselves. Coo, coo. That's my little pigeon noises. Coo. I don't know how you could go wrong with pigeon noises. Maybe I just did. Little aerial coming together. That's pretty much it for this bag. Okay, and drop in stuff. Cool tools. Yeah, and that's it. A few little spare parts here. I don't know how many of them I was meant to have. I feel like some of them went into the chair. Actually, yes, some of them absolutely did go into the chair. I'm going to put that where they belong. So I wasn't meant to have that many spare. It does make the chair look a little better. Makes the arms look a little thicker. I was thinking at the time, hang on, those arms should be thicker. Yeah, they should have been. That's on me. Anyway, I think that's where we're going to wrap up for today. Thank you for joining us. Here is Sesame Street so far. It's only part way there. I've made a few changes, as you can see. I was always going to. It will eventually be the modular standard, be able to sit into a modular row or a modular styled city, which means it will need a little more depth to the rest of the building. I believe next bag actually gets us, or maybe it's the bag after. You do a lot more for Big Bird section here, but this will give him even more room to be in, and I'll be able to make sure that Oscar is on this side of the building as well. And I'll find ways. I think the easy answer will be skylights here. There'll be a skylight here, sorry, skylight there, which means when I put figures in here, they won't get completely blocked off once it becomes dark interior. You'll still be able to see them because light will come in and fill them naturally. And maybe Bird doing something with these pigeons on Ernie doing something with these pigeons on top. I'm really loving the shaping of this set. This there are a few little spots where, like there, I'm not happy with that gap. I'm definitely changing that. But there's a lot to love with this set, especially those minifigures. That's why I got this set. Absolutely, 100% was for the minifigures. Everything else you can adjust and change, but without the minifigure parts, it makes it tricky. I would have loved to have seen more minifigures of our Sesame Street cast here. Not say the Sesame Street characters that haven't necessarily made it through the years. There are a few that have caused enough controversy to be cut over the years. Kermit the Frog actually started out as a Sesame Street character. He wasn't cut due to controversy, but people like Don Music, who used to bang his head against things when his music went wrong, that was why he kind of disappeared. Roosevelt Franklin was disliked by many, many parents, so he got fired from Sesame Street. He was a guy who used to teach stuff in scat and rap, and yeah, I guess it was a different time period there. It was 1975 when that happened to poor Roosevelt Franklin. Like I said, Don Music, he was another one. I don't know. That's enough Sesame Street facts, right? I've got a little guy who needs help, or adoration, who's been building little Lego cities of his own, so I'm going to go join him, have a little bit of fun and play, and I will bring images of the finalised Sesame Street adaptation to you as soon as I can. Thanks for joining, peoples, and see you again next Sunday. Cheers. Let's try that again. Okay, where are we? Yeah.